Hey everyone, welcome back to the Brandon Breeze GunTube channel. What are we talking about today? Well, I'm sure you saw the title, probably the thumbnail. We're going to be talking about the Tactical Elites Laser Boresighter, right? So if you have ever thought to yourself, man, I want to zero an optic, but I don't want to waste nearly as much ammo, this could be a really good kit for you, right? So stay tuned. So first thing we're going to talk about is what it is and what it's used for. Seems pretty straightforward, but you can use this anywhere from .177 caliber, anywhere in between, all the way up to a 12 gauge. And what it does is, essentially, you take this, you take the little adapters, you put the adapter in the end here, put that into your muzzle, obviously after you've checked to make sure that it is not loaded. And when you screw this in, it will widen on here, and that'll give you the tension you need in your barrel. So you can see right here the line, when you put it in and then you turn it, that will tighten it up so that you can get a better pre-zero with this system, right? And I have used it for 9mm, 22, 12 gauge, and I think that's it so far. Actually, no, 458 SOCOM, that's right. So that's what it is, that's what it does, right? Unboxing and first impressions. It's pretty straightforward. It's nothing fancy, right? But it's exactly what you need to get the job done. Setup and ease of use, like I said, super easy. The hardest part is basically finding which size of these is gonna go into your bore. And you'd be surprised, like here's the 9mm one. It just looks so teeny tiny, right? But that's because it expands out into the barrel, right? So let's talk about performance and accuracy. So I'll show you the shooting footage and then we'll get back to it after you see the shooting footage. But anyway, I zeroed a couple of things. I zeroed my Glock 34 with the EPS on it. I pre-zeroed rather, my Shadow Systems with the Osight X. And we'll talk about this one later, the EPS Carry on the P365. The Osight SE on one of my 26s, and even the Romeo RS on my Ruger Mark IV. So we're going to roll in that shooting footage, watch that, and then we'll chat back at the end. All right, everyone, I noticed that about 80% of folks are still not subscribed to the channel that watch regularly. So if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and hit that subscribe button now. That helps the channel out. We want to grow and spread the word and help more people. So go ahead and hit the subscribe now, and we'll get back to the video here in a second. All right, everyone, what did you think? So for the most part, with almost all of the pistols, this thing was within 2 inches of that bullseye at 25 yards with all of these pistols, right? And to me, that's really awesome because that's going to save you some money on ammo, right? So rather than showing up to the range and hoping that you're, close to the bullseye at whatever range you want to zero in at, this allows you to get really close without having to spend a bunch of money. And keep in mind that I have astigmatism in both my eyes, so the laser looks kind of like a splotch, and each of the dots look like a splotch. So if I'm able to get that close, if you don't have astigmatism, this thing should be pretty much dead on, right? So that leads into the practical value of this. At this time, I think these are 40 to 50 bucks, right? One range trip is going to save you that much ammo, right? Because you can spend a ton of time trying to get to zero if you don't have something that's close right to begin with. There's been times where, I've put a piece of glass, and this is rifle, this isn't pistols, put a piece of glass on there, didn't have a boresighter, stupidly take it out to 100 yards and then you don't even hit the target and you don't know where you're at. So this will help you with doing that, right? Things to watch out for, not really much of anything. I would say that as long as you have all the stuff in here as it's supposed to come, it's going to be really easy to use out of the box. It does come with instructions that are very straightforward. The verdict and recommendation for it. I'm going to say I absolutely recommend this, not necessarily just this brand, but any other brand. And shout out to my friend Tony. He's the one that actually bought this, so he paid with his money. I didn't pay with my money, but he knew I had a bunch of optics to zero, and he was nice enough to lend it to me, right? So it'll help save you some money. So I would absolutely recommend it to anybody and everybody. That's all I've got for you on this review of the Tactical Elites Laser Boresighter system. So if you like my content, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you.